Hey guys, it's Chili here. Welcome back to Hardware 3D Tutorial 5. In the last video, we used a little custom Windows message map to spy on all the messages being sent to our Windows, and then we tried our hand at handling a couple of the messages relating to the keyboard. In this video, we're going to continue on with our message handling shenanigans. We're going to try to handle the WMCHAR message and the mouse click message. All right, now let's take a look at WMCHAR, because this guy is a little trickier. You might wonder, well, what's the difference between WMCHAR and WM key down? You get both of these messages when you press a key. Well, let's actually see what happens. So I'm going to press the key F. And you can see here, I get WM key down. Set text, we'll ignore that. Unknown message, we'll ignore that one. Then we get WMCHAR, and then we get WM key up. So key down and key up, that makes sense, right? But what's this WMCHAR? Well, let's try a different key. I'm going to press the Enter key. I got a car. Okay, that wasn't super expected. Now I'm going to press the F1 key. All right, here you see if I press F1, I'm not getting any message for car. I'm getting a help message, which makes sense because the F1 is often mapped to help. If I press F2, I still get help? No, no help. Just key down and key up. So, interesting. Some keys, like G and F, they will get me they'll get me a WMCHAR message if I press space. That also gets me WMCHAR. If I press enter, that's another WMCHAR. But if I press F4, no cars to be had. So, basically, to cut to the chase here, WMCHAR is a message for text input. So it's a message that's used for, let's say, when you're typing into a text field, an input box, when you're typing into a word processor, and you want to get text. And the main difference between WMCHAR and WM key down, I mean, besides the fact that keys like F1 and F2, they don't really have a representation in text. There's no character that corresponds to F1. There's a character that corresponds to 1 or to W. There's even characters that correspond to enter and space, but there's no character that corresponds to F1. So you're only going to get input that corresponds to a text character with WMCHAR. The other thing is, if you press Shift D for key down, you're going to get D. If you press D without shift, you're also going to get D. Key down doesn't have any notion of capital letters or lowercase letters, whereas WMCHAR will have that transformation applied. So WMCHAR messages, you will get a lowercase d or an uppercase D, depending on the state of shift when that key was pressed. So, to make a long story short, you use WMCHAR when you're looking for text input, when you're typing in words and sentences. You use key down when you're looking for just keystroke input. Like, let's say you're using WASD to control a character in a game. You would use key messages. When you're typing that character's name in, some screen, you would use WMCHAR messages. That is the difference. And that brings me back to this guy here, translate message, because what translate message actually does is it checks the message, and if it's a key down message, it will post a WMCHAR message to your message queue. So it will generate car messages from your key down messages. And if I comment that out and I run this guy, now let's press F. F. You're seeing there's no more WMCHAR. I've eliminated that guy. So if you really don't use WMCHAR messages, you could actually just omit translate message altogether. It might do other things as well. I'm not exactly 100% sure on all of its roles, but I do know that generating WMCHAR messages is one of its jobs. So for the purposes of demonstration, let's create a static std string, that's not how you spell that, string title, TT. And let's now do WMCHAR. So I believe that the W param is going to be the ASCII code of the actual letter or the symbol. So we are going to do title dot pushback W param And let's make that, let's cast that to car. And that should work, okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set window text to whatever is in our title. .cstring. Beautiful. All right. So I don't like this. I like that better. Good. So if we run this, we should expect that when we're typing, we can actually build up a Windows title here. So let's take IUTRPLOC. Now if I type F, I get an F, but if I release F, it's going to go to danger field. The reason for that is because the key up message comes after the WMCHAR, so the key up will set it to danger field. But you get the idea. This is how you can handle a WMCHAR message. Oh, and by the way, just to prove that I'm not a huge liar, if I press Shift L, I will get capital L, and here's lowercase l, O, O, O. There you go. Beautiful. All right, since we're on a roll, let's handle one last message here, one last demonstration. WM L button down. So this is for when you click the left button down on your mouse. So again, we're going to need some infos. We defer to WML button down. Google tells us go to MSDN, and we do so. So the W param indicates whether various virtual keys are down. So you can tell what keys were pressed, so you can see if you can distinguish between, control click and, shift click, or whether the right button was down when you click the left button, etc. And these are, if you can tell, these are all flags, right? These are all binary bit flags, so they can be ORed together, and you can use masking to check them. The L param is actually a packed value. So the lower 16 bits gives you the X coordinate. The higher 16 bits gives you the Y coordinate. And that's relative to the upper left corner of the client area, which I told you about before. That's the area that we are not drawing, and that looks all weird. So we got two 16-bit shorts packed into a 32-bit values. They are signed, apparently, and you could do some bit shifting and some masking. You could get those guys out. But Windows API has given us some macros, so you can use get X param and get Y param to extract those two packed values, or you can use make points to obtain a point structure from the return value. So let's do that. Points PT. It's weird, it says points, but there's only one point. Anyways, make points. Booyah. L param. And there you go. Points. There you go. I don't like this. Stop that. It's going to do it every time, isn't it? All right, so now we got those points. Going to include string stream in here, and I am going to basically output the coordinates of the mouse to our window text. So we extract the points, we format that information, we put it into our window text, into our title of our window. So now if we run this and we click, here's our coordinate, 403.135. Let's go click right here. Yeah, that looks about right. It's relative to the top left corner of our client region there. Beautiful. So we're handling mouse events. Everyone is happy. So this should give you a general idea of how to handle some Windows messages and how to look up information to handle more messages. This is as far as we're going to take it at this point, but when we create our actual Windows framework, remember these first few videos are just a little bit of exploration. We're going to create a proper class to encapsulate the Windows functionality in the near future. And when we do that, I will go over some extra little details about handling input, and we'll make a real nice system out of it. But I think this is good enough for you guys just to get the general idea of how it works. And I think this is actually the end of our little exploratory expedition here. So starting from the next video, we're going to be creating the actual Windows framework that we use for our Direct 3D application. And because I've already laid out the basic fundamentals of how everything works, we should be able to blast through that pretty quickly. Until then, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button, it helps a lot. And I will see you soon with some more Hardware 3D.